Here is my first week developing my, I guess I want to say it's a new game based on some other old projects that I had. This is my first week basically as a game dev. So I'm doing my first devlog. I'm probably going to suck. I'm sure they're going to get better as I go along. But needs to be done. I just want to make sure that I'm documenting everything as I go along because it keeps me motivated and just having a diary to go back and look back and see maybe with some mistakes or ideas maybe that I forgot about or maybe some mistakes that I thought about. So as I recorded this last night, I didn't really like it. It was a little too long and I kind of was rambling on about things that really weren't about the game itself. So the game that I'm working on is called Wagon Path. That's just kind of a working title. I've been working on this literally for 7 days now. I started on the 5th, and today is now the 12th. So I started last Wednesday with some sketches, and I'll go right into that. So I took everything that I had, and I kind of scanned. I don't have everything scanned completely yet, but I'm scanning things, and I'm putting them all into this PDF so I can go back and look and read. That way I'm not shuffling through all my notes because I get in a real bad habit of putting a bunch of papers everywhere that I end up losing. So what I did was I scanned all my sketches. So this was what I was kind of thinking of what I wanted to do. I sketched this out. I always do this. I go through really quick and I'll just kind of draw out really fast, kind of like just brainstorming and just throwing on my ideas down on what I wanted to do. I didn't have the name yet. I knew I wanted it to be like a wagon game. Think of like, Oregon Trail, where you're like going across the United States and you're trying to make it to the other side. I had this idea for a game. This idea I had it, I want to say, I think the first time I had this idea was about 10 years ago. And it was going to be a board game. So I originally wanted to do this space shooter type game. I had designed like the spaceship, because I really liked playing this game on my phone, and I wanted to kind of like learn how to make my own. So I started getting into video game development, going to like Unity classes and we weren't called game jams back then, but it was like just these little meetings where people would go and make video games on the weekends, and you had like 3 days to build this game. So I would get into those things. I've been programming games since I was like literally like 6 or 7 years old. My dad had us programming on a Commodore 64 when we were kids. So he was like, if you want to play games, you need to learn how to code them. And then we would code these games from these magazines they would send us every month. And it would show you how to like code sprites and make animations and things. So I've been doing this for a while. I'm 46 now. Like I said, this is back in Commodore 64 VIC-20 days with tape drives that we used to use, and cartridges only had like 8K and 14K memory. So the original idea when I first decided to do this was going to be like a board game. Because I went to Austin, and I went to a video game, like it was a Unity course, a Unity crash course for programming in Unity and exporting out to the Xbox, because Microsoft wanted everybody to put more games on their platform. So they were hosting all these Unity courses that you could go to, and they would teach you how to export it into the Xbox system of the Xbox game store, because they wanted people to be exclusively into that. But I still went, and it was kind of cool. And I sat and I met a lot of cool people. I'm sure people are still designing games today or working on games even today that I met there. But I was talking to this guy who was sitting next to, and he's like, hey, if you really want to learn like game logic, if you really want to learn how like video games are made, and he's like, go play some board games. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, and of course I did the stupid thing. I said, oh, like Monopoly? And he's like, no. No, go to this game cafe. It was called Emerald Tavern in Austin, and he's like, they have all these real cool, like, complex board games. So we went, like, after the course was over that day, we went over to Emerald Tavern, And yeah, it was amazing. There was all these cool board games they have, and I just fell in love. Like the first one I played with was Carcassonne, because they have games where you like a library, you can just kind of play them. And I got into playing Carcassonne, and it's still my favorite game. I guess because it was like my first one. So if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a tile laying game. It looks like this. So I'll pull that up real quick for you. So it looks like this, and it's basically where you lay these tiles down, and you're trying to score points by however, like, if these tiles are random, everybody gets to pick a tile and you put it down, but it has to match. Like you can't put the river to a water to a land, and you're trying to build out these cities so you can score points inside of them. So I fell in love with this game. I still have it today. I have like 4 copies of it, different variations, different publishers, different art styles. So like it is like literally probably my favorite board game, next to like worker placement games, which is where you put your people out and they collect goods for you when they bring them back. That's probably my second one. Second favorite type of board game, which is like a Stone Age is a good one. It's a classic, but it's kind of like where you put down your people, you put down your workers, and they collect wood, and they can go collect wood, or they can get stone, food, and things like that. They collect, and you collect points, and you can turn them in to win the game. So that's probably in my next favorite game, is like collecting resources on board games. So I just got completely like immersed into the board game world, and I actually do work for a board game manufacturing company now in China, that actually makes board games and puzzles. So like I've been in board games for a while, and I had a magazine for a while about board games before COVID hit, and then it kind of like destroyed the whole industry. But the industry's back now, and all the conventions are back. People are, it's really strong. So if you haven't gotten into board games, I suggest you go to like a local place around you or find one, and just people are anxious to like bring you in. Like they'll teach you how to play and stuff. So this game is kind of like a mix between all the cool video games that I love playing and the cool board games that I love playing. So it has like that resource collection. It has this tile laying element that I love. Wagon Path is, I mean, Wagon Path is basically like the game that I've always wanted to make. Like it has so much things to do in it, where the whole idea of this game is that you start out on these little tiles here, with your wagon. At the beginning, you're gonna be unloaded from this dock. Basically, they're gonna bring your wagon in. It's like just a crappy little level 1 wagon, with limited space, limited things in it. Like you're starting out basically from scratch. You're coming to this land, to work, and to you're like, I'm not gonna say it's like a dwarf. You're kind of like a little person, like a hobbit, I guess, or a dwarf, something. And you work, and you're going to come into the mines. You're small enough to squeeze into these underground cities. You're going to explore some above ground ruins. There's going to be an opportunity where you can go in and you can collect wood. You can hunt. You can trap animals. You can go into the mines and you can mine. All these square tiles. Again, it's kind of like Carcassonne, where the game is going to randomize all these tiles for you, and the road, the path that you're going to take. And after a certain number of tiles, it'll trigger like a market, which is what this represents, where there is a market, and you'll be able to set up your wagon to sell all these goods either to NPCs or to other players. You'll be able to sell the things that you collect, and the ores and the things that you've collected, at these markets. So you can either purchase from other players things that they've crafted. Maybe they've gotten some cool stuff that you don't have, or they can purchase things from you. So the way this what makes this game kind of unique is the markets, where you can put your if you're on Steam and you have like 6 friends that own this game, you can interconnect the markets. So basically, like when you set up and you hit this market here, this market spot, you'll be able to put your tools, your ores, your fish, whatever it is that you've collected, your animals that you've caught, skins, anything. Basically anything that you can that's in the game is sellable and tradable. So once you set up at your market here, you'll be able to trade, and people can come visit your market like an instance. That basically they can come in and see your market and what you have for sale, and they can trade, or you can buy, or whatever. You can set prices. You can set a trade price. You can set trade. If you need something, you can say, okay, well, we know the worth of this is $20 or 20 gold. I'm willing to trade for 25 or 15, depending on up or down. But if it's something that I really, really need, I'm willing to go higher or lower to get that item. And and basically your trade market is always on, and it'll be activated the minute you get to the first market here. Your trade instance of your video game begins, and you're gonna leave your wagon here basically, like as an instance, your wagon, and people can go in, they can look at your wagon, they can see all the cool things you've collected, and their antiquities and rare items that you found, like, because there'll be a way to display them in your wagon. I'll show you that here in a sec. So as you set up your market wagon, people can come in and in 3D space, they'll be able to go in and look at what you got for sale. They can walk inside your wagon, see how you got it set up, how you decorated it. While along, you're basically still on the path to get to the next market. So you can still explore with your wagon. You can go to, you can take these roads and keep exploring the map. But until you hit the next market and you activate that, then you can set up and you can start selling, and you can update your goods. You can get your gold. You can get whatever items you traded for. Those will then go into your inventory, but not until you hit the next market spot. And these ones here are the larger markets, so these will have like more NPC players at them, whereas these smaller ones are just for your market space only. If you want to trade with NPCs, you got to get to the larger market, and that's where you can buy rare minerals and spices and things like that to cook with. Things that maybe you can't find out in the wild, but but are for sale at these main markets. Even things from other countries or lands, maybe that you can buy that aren't in this particular map, because everyone's map is going to be different. It's basically set up in a quadrant. So, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So when you're when the game is pulling it's basically going to do it in 4 parts. So like this, it might be, I might have a little bigger than what it's supposed to be, but like if we cut the map up like this, so it'll generate this corner here for you first. This one might be a little too far over. So basically all these items, I have them too far over in the wrong quadrant, so I'm just going to move them over. There. So when it generates the first quadrant and you start the game, it'll generate all this here, and it'll give you that one main market, and all the rest of the stuff in here, like where you can hunt, where you can mine. These are underground cities. I don't have them in the thing yet, but these are where you can go down into the underground cities. So the kind of the lore of the game is that something happened in history of this land, and you can see there was like where these crystal meteorites hit, but that's I'll get to that in a sec. Basically, the lore of the game is you got to this land here, and there's no cities. Like, everything is just destroyed. Like, nobody lives above ground. They don't live in buildings. They don't live in houses. They in the whole history and the lore of the game is they were living above ground, and it was kind of like a medieval time where everything was handmade. It's all like bricks and hand cut wood, and homes, and everything was like windmills here to crush the grain and things. But something happened, and just all the houses and the buildings and the cities have all been destroyed. So you'll be able to explore those. It's an isometric style game. Even when you go into the ruins, like it's all going to be procedurally generated. So like every ruin you get, if it's like a level 1, it'll say like up to 1 to 3 tiles. Level 2 is like 1, 3 to 7 tiles, and so on and so forth. So they'll get bigger and bigger as you progress in the game and you level up. And so are the mobs that you're gonna find in these things. So there'll be things like monsters and mobs inside here that you can hunt and kill, and they'll drop loot and things like that. And there'll also be some chests and furniture you can rummage through and find things from the old, from 1,000 years ago that people maybe left behind that you can collect or you can sell. So same with these underground cities, which is what this kind of represents, these stairways that go down into this underground. So they abandoned their above ground world and they went down underneath, which is where like they developed like steam power. So and I'm not going to use the word steampunk because this isn't like a steampunk game. I'm not really a big fan of steampunk. You just throw gears on things and call it steampunk. But anyway, think of the anime Steam Boy. If you've ever seen the anime called Steam Boy, they use like a lot of steam to control like their whole society is based on steam. So like this society, they went underground and they developed again more technology, and the way that they built their cities underground, you'll be able to explore all that. So think of like steam pipes everywhere, and there's just like all kind of just the way that the architecture changes. It's different from what they had from above ground, but down below again, they for some reason their society failed again. So it's all ruins, and it's like there's a lot of dark corners, and there's just you're going to go down there and it's going to be more like a dungeon. So the downstairs ruins are like it's like a steam air. I'm saying steampunk, but it's like a steam-based society, but it's gone. So you'll be able to like discover technology down there that you're going to be able to use on your wagon to like unlock like steam power later on. And you're not necessarily going to get that early game because of the progression of the game. I want this to be like a progressive thing where you have to unlock technology to get to the next level or to get to the next part of the map. Like over here, like you won't be able to cross this river until you fix the technology that controls the bridge, the drawbridge, because you just won't be able to cross with your wagon until you do that. And then you'll be able to explore these ruins on the other side, which unlock more technology. And then you're going to discover the crystals on that side. Once you get to this other quadrant, you'll start discovering more crystals that have different alien properties as opposed to the crystals that you're going to find over here on the first quadrant part of the map that give you like magical properties and fire properties and ice properties to your weapons and your armor and things of that nature. So the game will have a progression system, and it's meant to be a single player game where you play by yourself, but when you hit these ruins or you hit these underground cities, you can invite your friends in to help you clear those dungeons. So while they're out, they're going to have their own instance of the game on their computer where they're hunting and they're mining. Those are their resources. They're collecting resources and things that you may not have in your map, because the way the randomization is going to be, you may have tons of iron in your map. They may have tons of gold, but no iron. So that's kind of where the whole thing of the markets come in, where you're gonna have to trade. Your first quadrant may not have anywhere to fish. Like they may not have a river in it where you can go fishing for freshwater fish. You may not have a coast where you can go get ocean type fish or crabs and things like that. So you'll be able to trade those amongst, depending on what spawns in your quadrant, on each quadrant, what spawns in your instance of your game, and it's going to determine what kind of crafting you're going to do. So you can craft things to sell to your friends. You can craft anything from armor to food to jewelry to weapons to bedspreads even, and I'll show you that here in a sec. For your wagon to decorate, or your friend's wagon, because you'll be able to like design it up to a way to where like it's very unique, and you can design things that are like posters and paintings. Like you can find paint, and you can actually learn to paint in the game. I mean, they're going to be pre-made paint, but think of paint by numbers, right? I'm just kind of gonna throw everything out because these are all the ideas that are in my head. Like in the game, like I'll have like to start with, there'll be like 12 designs of paintings, right? But you need to find like the color paint to paint. Like it's a paint by number, so you're gonna need maybe You're gonna need three colors to paint the first painting. Whereas on the last level, like a really beautiful painting, you'll need 12 colors to paint. So you'll have to discover and find those colors in the dungeons, in the ruins, in the mines. Things will give you those colors. Mobs will drop colors, like different colors that you can. And once you collect those colors, you'll be able to start painting your painting. And the more you collect, you'll be able to finish the painting, and then you can either keep it, hang it in your wagon, or you can sell it. So some people may not have all the colors they need in their map ever, and that kind of leads you again back to the market, to where you have to go in and trade at the market, and go visit other people's markets and see if they have those colors that you need to finish that painting. So think of that as kind of like another reason people need to go to the market. And I drew it really, really quick, the market, with your wagon and setup. So when you set up the first time, like you'll be on a level 1 wagon, so you'll be able to craft a couple tables to put your stuff. But as you progress, you'll be able to craft these poles. You can craft the awning, because you're gonna unlock like the tanning rack. You're gonna unlock a sawmill, to be able to produce all these cool things. And I'm gonna show you that here in just a minute. But like here's kind of a layout of when you go to a larger market, and these are NPC. It's very crude, I'm sorry, but it's like NPC wagons that you can walk to and see what they're selling. And some may sell what you're looking for. I had a phone call, my bad. Yeah, so basically these this is kind of a crude setup on these squares in the game for the NPC market when you show up. So your wagon will be in there with them. Nobody will see these but you. So when your friends come to visit, they're just going to visit a square that'll have your wagon on it, or somebody. It doesn't even have to be a friend. Anybody who comes in to your instance, who's on your friends list, and they come into your game, it's kind of like going into a dungeon. Like they're going to be able to jump in and just see what you have for sale, and they can buy and trade from you. And you can do the same thing with theirs. So once they have their wagon set up at the first market, you'll be able to go into that. But these are like the crafting. Again, I did these real quick and dirty on this one here. But I'll show you with all like crafting is a huge part of this, because like again I took a lot of elements of games that I love to play, and I just decided to stick them all into like a game, like a little bit of Minecraft, a little bit of Valheim, a Carcassonne with the tile laying, like the market. I don't know if you've ever played Ultima Online, but they do have like where you can craft and you can put things, you can sell them on a vendor, like that element of that part of UO. Because people in there they'll make like weapons and clothes, and you have to go collect material, and you can craft these cool robes and stuff, and then people will sell them for hundreds of thousands of gold sometimes on these shards that we play on. So I kind of took that element here too, with the market, with your wagon, going to the market and selling things that you've either found or you crafted, or you discovered, going through the crypts and going through the underground stuff, through all the dungeons. So that's kind of where that comes from. So let's move on. So here's kind of like I say, these are the crude, quick drawings I did. Just as I lay in bed, I sketch out my ideas real fast. So here's a more, little bit better drawing of what these crafting stations look like, where you can upgrade your metalworking station, your woodworking station, a leatherworking, a loom for doing fabrics. There's a fermenter, for beer, wine, things like that. Jewelry making, and then over here is for pickles and jams. I have more, like an alchemist station. I have a lot of other ideas that I want to put in here. And then these are the piping systems for anything that needs ventilation. You'll be able to put that ventilation into your wagon. So the idea of the game is you're, like I said, you're everyone lives in wagons. You're in a wagon. You're you're going tile to tile. You're jumping. You know, like I said, your wagon is in here. You know, you start here, and you just, as you progress and you explore these areas, either underground or above, or you're in the mines underground or you're above ground. Um, like you'll click on the woods or the mine. You know, like this. The idea is where you're here, and you're here in your wagon. You click the mine to go into the mine, and it'll bring you into the mine itself. And again, those are all going to be randomized. Those are all be randomized. And here's kind of a quick. Here's kind of a quick. Here's just a little. Okay, so here's a 3D version of what it looks like when you go into the mine. You basically enter in here, um, and then there'll be like these little doors you can have to unlock or whatever to go into the like another area. I haven't really decided if I'm even going to do that or not, or just leave it open where you can just openly explore. But um, here's basically like what a one by one level one mine is, and I kind of just through these crystals that are being in the later level, and then what it looks like when you're actually mining the stone here that has gold or iron or silver, whatever we decide these metals are going to be called. Um, and then you'll be able to craft these forges in there if there's not already. Maybe there'll be like one that's kind of damaged that you can repair. You'll be able to craft these forges down there too and lay them down, and you know, put wood or coal or something in there to be able to use it to smelt the iron as you're down there. Um, and you'll be able to, as you progress and you get better technology, you can build bigger forges um, that do more, and instead of smelting one bar at a time, it'll go to like 4, and then it'll go to like 8, and it'll have where you can pour it out of this thing completely, where it's a lot quicker. I do have that sketched out, but I'm going to put it in 3D first before I show it. So basically, this is what the mine looks like again, and these again they'll all be random. So if you go back to what I'm doing here, I go to the mine. So that's a wagon, and then come down here. Yeah. So here's like the basic setup of the mines. Like a level 1 will just be a 1 by, you know, just a 1 tile, and then 2s will be bigger, and then 3s. Of course, they're not going to be. They may not be square. I'm just saying that it'll contain about this many squares, and they may be, you know, it may snake through, or it may be a straight line, or it could be, you know, who knows. It's going to be random. And then a huge mine will be the same way. It might have a larger room in the middle with things you can go through and loot, and then there'll be like where these snake through, and you have to go through and explore them. But all those I'm still working on. I just kind of did this to show what I wanted it to look like. And the same thing with the ruins. Like those will be like, some will be smaller, and then some will be larger, and there'll be like some stairs you can go up or go down. And I haven't done the underground city yet because I just kind of added that yesterday, where you can go down to the underground to that steam technology area. And then here's where like the hunting and gathering is kind of the same thing. That these tiles will be randomized, and the animals that you hunt will be randomized, as well as the trees and what kind of trees and bushes and berries and things that you'll find in each one. So as you hunt and gather, you never know what you're going to get. And the animals, I just threw these regular animals in there, but the animals will be custom made for the game. Like this is a fantasy world, so we're not going to have deer. We'll have an animal that looks like a deer, kind of, you know, with antlers and things, but it's not a deer. And same thing with the rabbits and the pigs and everything. I want there to be like variation in the animals, because you're going to be able to trap these, and you can either skin them, or you use them for resources, or you can trap them and keep them in cages, and like you can stick it in your tray, you can stick it in your wagon, just for decoration too. Like if you find a cool animal, kind of like Pokemon, I guess. So there's a little bit of Pokemon Go in here too, if you think about that, because the animals I want to be like fantasy looking, and maybe some have glowing eyes, or like their feathers are real pretty or something. And you'll be able to, as you build your trapping skill, you'll be able to trap the better and the nicer, cooler animals. You'll be able to trap. Same as Pokemon, like as you grow your skill with the Pokeball, same thing in here. Like you can't you have to you have to craft level, like higher level traps, like a level 3 trap to trap a level 3 animal. If that makes sense. Which like here, like I just put these in here. I put like earth things that we found here, like oak, copper, emeralds, and rabbits and chickens. But in the game, this is all will be custom things. Like the name of the iron's not going to be copper. It'll have its own unique name, and iron will have its own unique name. And they're going to look similar but not the same. Same with the crystals. So the crystals were basically idea for this other game. One of the working titles I had for this one was called Nomads. It was called the Fourth Season of Drangardio, basically where you and this one's on the Facebook. So here's kind of like, I did this like 10 years ago. I suck, I know, but I sketched it, and I was just kind of like trying to mock up what I thought would portray like in the wagon, see, and these little short guys, like this guy's munching on a turkey leg. This guy's got magic, and this guy's got a sword, and this big monster's coming at him. So they're kind of on a path to get somewhere, and you got these orcs up here, like coming out of the mountain hole, and this tree's got eyeballs growing on it. But anyway, that's kind of the idea I had like 10 years ago with this. But it was gonna be a board game, not necessarily a video game. But I think a video game is really where I want to do. But like here, like where you find these crystals in the game. And I kept the crafting grid, so in this game, a little bit Minecrafty. So like you have this small crafting grid to start with, so you're kind of limited by what you can craft inside here. But as you discover, like you'll get iron, you'll get crystals, you'll get wood to make like a special like ability sword. Like this one here is like a fire sword with 2 red crystals. Or like a regular sword. So it's kind of the same thing. Just chop the wood, get the resources, mine the metal. These will be ingots, obviously, and then you can put the crystals and imbue them with like special abilities to make those swords do cool things. And I even still had this idea with the crystals back then. To do that, but now I'm adding all this crafting ability. So let's go to I'll show you actually some 3D work that I've been working on, since this is a devlog. Let me open the crafting tables. Okay, so here is let me move this out of the way. That's what I'm working on now. I'm redesigning this this part. So this is basically the view inside a level 2 trailer. This part here in the middle, if you look back at my original my IDS thing, so here's like the level 2. I made it a little bigger than what I decided here, but just for the basically I think I made it, whoops, I think it's more like that, maybe even one more. Yeah, so that's like a level 2 wagon there, and this dark part here is where you walk, so you won't be able to actually use that space. I haven't decided. I might turn that, like do like that, where you enter the wagon in the front, and we have more space to put things. Same with this one. Like I might make it to where there's less walk, because you don't really need to access that back part, because it's a window there anyway. That's not where the door is. So looking on the inside, this part here would not be usable area to put things, but all the rest of this will be. So in the game, when you enter the wagon, you'll be able to these walls here. I have it open because I'm working on it, but let me show you, kind of duplicate this and bring it over. Oops. Just I'm going to cut off my lighting. Let me turn off the global lighting real quick. There. Yeah, so this is a little bit more representation of what it'll look like when you're in the game. So as your 3D character is walking, you're standing here. So you'll be able to look around. I don't have the back wall in there yet, but you get it. You get what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, I can just throw it in there real quick. Probably this size here would work. Yeah, we'll just throw that in there for now. There, so as you're walking and you're in the game, so you're standing in the 3D space here, like this walkway here. So there's your crafting tables. So there's a Minecraft mod I used to play, and you could basically add like these extra, it adds extra crafting benches and like Industrial Craft does. If you played those before. So what I'm doing with this is kind of the same thing. So these crafting benches, which are these. So imagine these. I haven't modeled any of these except for the sawmill and the metal forge, which I'm changing the design anyway. But imagine these guys, and you'll be able to place. Let's just say that this is a. We'll duplicate that and we'll bring it over. So like you'll be able to place these down here. Now obviously you won't be able to place it in front of that one there. It'll give you an error basically, like because that front of that needs to be accessible because it's a stove. But you can reconfigure this to where you can put something else there that is a corner piece, and not a stove. So you're not going to go to each of these workbenches. So like you're not going to go to the stove and cook. Everything's done at this crafting table here. But as long as the items are in a drawer in storage, either here or in chests, you'll be able to use these crafting. Your crafting ability will go up because all the items that are available to craft with this level 2 metalworking table here will open up on your crafting table, if that makes sense. So like if you didn't have one of these, you wouldn't get the ability to craft things that this does. So you're not going to come to this crafting table and do work. You're going to craft everything here on this big grid. So when you click this, a grid will open up, and then it'll give you an item list of things that you can craft, and maybe things that you've discovered, but you won't be able to craft them because you don't have the proper items to craft them. Like this is like the workbench for the wood stuff. This is like a level 1. You need to get a couple clamps and a saw, but these are just for decoration. You're not actually going to saw it. You'll just in here. If you put the wood in, it'll give you boards because you have this table available. So that's kind of the idea with all these different crafting tables here. Is once you put them in your wagon, you'll have the ability to like work with leather. You'll be able to work with chemicals. You'll be able to. I don't have the glass blowing station on here to make glass, but you'll be able to make glass planes and bottles and things that you'll need to make this. So it's all like a progression-based thing. You can't just lay these down. You have to unlock springs. You have to unlock the technology to build these, like this saw blade. Like you'll discover that's something you're going to discover. Copper, to make this copper thing for the fermenter, you need you'll have to be able to roll copper on like a sheet metal roller that you have to discover still. Same thing with the jewelry. Like everything in here is going to be like it's like you have to progress to be able to put those down. and you'll have space to put them, and there'll even be some storage. But and all these above them, like up here, is where you'll be able to put your decorations, and you'll be able to hang cages and bird cages, and you can keep like a pet. You can have like a cage over here, like on the floor down here. Like, let's just assume that this is that's like a cage, a small cage. And it may take up a quarter of that space, so you can put more. You could be able to put a couple of them there like that. Like if it was just to say that that was like an animal cage. Like that, basically. So, like, you'll be able to use inside this 4x4. You'll be able to put 4 different things in there if they're small enough. If they're a quarter size object, like this this wood thing over here I made to store wood. It's just a decoration thing, but it'll fit in that 4x4. That it'll fit in one of those quadrants. So as you're in your wagon, you'll be able to decorate. Not only lay down these workbenches to support your crafting, but you'll be able to put decorations in here as well. Like I said, that's where like those paintings come in, where you have to discover the colors to complete the painting before you can hang the painting. So there'll be like one of these will be like an artist station. And if you look, you're limited. So like you kind of got to decide, between like the 20 or so all of these, you won't have room to put them all in your wagon. So the idea is that you're crafting things, or you're making things, and your skills are improving on, let's say, like fermenting, and somebody that you play with or a friend of yours may not be doing that. They may be doing leatherworking and fabrics and pickling and jams. I think everyone will have like a woodworking and a metal forge, but these extra ones like that, like the alchemist one, the crystal working, where where you have to process the crystals, like crystal polishing, not necessarily jewelry making. Crystal polishing, crystal manufacturing is different from jewelry making. Jewelry is like rings and necklaces and things, but those will give you special abilities too if you wear them. So you won't be able to do it all. So everybody has their own choices to make as far as how they're going to deck out their wagons. And you'll be in this level. You'll be in this level 2 wagon for a while, because when you upgrade this, you're basically going to unlock a story. Like you'll unlock a second story in your wagon, basically, for storage, and you can put other workstations up top. Because as long as those workstations are connected, as long as these are connected in your wagon, this crafting table will be able to utilize them, and you won't see those things until you put those workstations in your wagon. So you won't have the ability to cook food, until you build one of these, and then you'll be able to cook higher end food with a higher end cooking station. Because to begin with, they're just going to have like a little ranky-danky like pot, to cook basic food in. So as you upgrade, you'll get like a roaster up here. You'll get more pots and pans to use. So like your ability to cook more different types of food will grow as you upgrade your cooking station. And the same with the metalworking. Like you won't have an anvil to start. You know what I mean? Or you have an anvil to start, but you won't be able to bend metal. This metal bending thing comes in later on. You'll have just a basic anvil and a hammer to start with. And then as you progress and you grow, and you level up, like you'll be able to have this forge where you can melt, you can heat up metal to make swords and armor. So the progression and the upgrades, again, it's kind of like when you play Valheim, like you can't process the black metal until you get the technology to melt it down and to actually work with it, and you have to upgrade your workstation to get there. But again, a lot of those things that I don't like especially about Valheim, is where like you have to independently craft these tool things and a forge and the water thing down here. What I'm doing is I'm just making it to where this, when you upgrade this, it changes the look of this um, workstation. You know, like you won't have that to start with, but when you upgrade to level 2, bam, like this metal bending station will show up, and it'll get reconfigured in a way, and you may get more tools to display up here. You know, we don't use these, but they're just for, you know, this tool shelf will change. You know. And the same with the cooking station. Like you have a little cutting board and things up here, but like you'll get like this little pig roast, like a little roasting, and there'll be like a animation of a pig or a chicken roasting up here, you know. And you'll have more. This pots will expand, and you'll have more room for pots and pans, and there'll be pots and pans hanging up here. So as you upgrade your station, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Same with the woodworking station. Like you'll get this saw, like it's just an animation thing. Like you're not using this, but like this will spin. You know, it'll have like an animation where that spins, and this will have smoke coming out of it and glowing lights, and this will have things bubbling out of it. But again, you're not using them. It just has to be attached to your wagon to be able to craft things that are available, and it'll unlock those things from the craft. The crafting table will unlock abilities and a window so you can create those things. And again, you can't use everything because there's gonna be more machines than you have room for. So you got to kind of pick and choose what you want what you want your character to kind of specialize in, and what he's gonna go and sell at the market. So that's kind of what I think what's going to set this game apart. And I think that people always say, well, what makes your game so different? Well, I think that's it. You know, the whole market thing, where you're crafting and you're selling your stuff, but you're still exploring, you're still chopping wood. So you're still going to get that thing where like, it's not too grindy, but you still can go get woods, and there'll be like different quality of woods, which is going to affect the price of the final product that you make. So like if you use a crappy, just like oak or something, or like a cheap wood, nobody, the price may not, or the quality of it may not be that great. But as you progress through the game and you discover that you made a better axe, so you can chop better wood, and the quality of your wood and the quality of your furniture or the quality of your decorations have gone up, then you're going to be able to sell them for more in the market. And again, the idea is that people can connect, and there's kind of like an Amazon store where people can see what you got, and then they can come into your instance and they can browse your stuff, and they may see something else that they want. That's a little bit of the UO, that the UO marketplace that they have, where you can go in and people have vendors and stuff. Except your vendor kind of, like I said, once you set him up, he's just an instance. He's not physically here. He's just somewhere. He's just like an instance that another player can come visit and see what you have left to sell, and what maybe the price you have is good enough for him, because everyone's game is going to be a little bit different. So and again, you're on your own computer, but you'll be able to join in on somebody else's game only in the market if you don't know them. If they have their market public or for friends only, you'll be able to go into other people's markets and purchase things that they've crafted or things that they made, like this bedspread here. I'll just use this as an example. Again, it's going to be like a paint by numbers thing. So like even this, when you discover the fabrics and you're trying to make this pattern, you'll be able to go in and, I want to put a triangle or a half a moon circle or a square in different colors. So you'll be able to make these simple designs that are yours. Like it'll be very unique, and with the proper skill, you can make a bedspread, and you can make pillows for people, and then you can put those on the market, and people will be able to see. They can come see what you have. Like they'll get a preview, but they can come into your market and purchase it for whatever price you want to sell it for. I mean, maybe it was really, really hard to make, and you use really, really rare materials on it, so it's like the blinged out. And when they come visit your market, like your wagon will be opened up, and they'll be able to see the way that your wagon is set up at the time that you went to the market and set it up. So like you're not physically there, but they'll be able to come in and walk through this door and see what tools you have. They won't be able to use anything. It's just like you're just walking in here, but they'll be able to see your decorations. They'll be able to see your paintings if you have any animal, like really cool animals hanging in here. So like this is like going to be like a collect what like artifacts that maybe you found from the ancient cities that you've put on display up here. Maybe things that glow, or maybe even a lava lamp. Who knows? Like just items that you that are findable in the game that are rare. Um, I may have like something like a lava lamp, but it's like looks real rustic. But maybe there's like 6 different colors, and people want to collect all 6 colors of lava lamp to put in their RV. And it's kind of cool that somebody actually went through and found the time to find them all. Maybe the green one's a little more rare, so it's a little more expensive. Things like that, The possibilities are endless as far as what you can do to decorate your wagon. And when you unlock and you get to a point in the game where you can get the 2-story wagon, there's just be more space to decorate, more space to bling out. You can put armor stands and display armor that you've created or found. More animal space for cages and things for cool animals that you've discovered. So there's a lot of cool things that I think that are going to happen with this. Now I know this is super ambitious. I know people are going to be like, "Oh my God, that's crazy. There's no way." Right now, what I'm just want to do, I'm not at the point to where I'm trying to create a playable level. I want to make it to where we could make it to here right now. I want to get all these renderings done where I want it to look like, and then I want it to get playable to this red dot. So I want to be able to start here at the dock and show that the wagon, coming off this really cool looking ship, coming off the ship, and then it kind of rolls itself in and stops here, and that's where like the tutorial starts, where it's like, okay, click here to go into the mine, and then you go into a little easy mine and you just get some iron. Go here and you kill a little rabbit or a deer, get the meat and the pelt, and then you can collect some berries, and you can kill, I can chop wood. After you kill some animals, you can chop down some simple wood, and take it back and process it into boards and things like that. And then like I want the wagon to animate and open up the next tile. Once you've completed both of these objectives, it drops the next tile, and your wagon moves into the next one. And you go and chop some more wood, and maybe it's a different type of wood, and you realize, oh, I need to use that iron that I made to make a better axe to chop that wood in there. So you go back to your wagon. So it kind of teaches you how to like fix your tools and whatever. And then animate the next, and once you complete that objective, it takes it to the next tile. So basically, I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles as a test. I'm not trying to do this whole game right now. I want to get into Unity, and I want to get it to where I can get that wagon animated, and I can click it, and it opens up into the mine. It opens the 3D into the actual mine, like this, where your character is in here, and you go and you can smack your pickaxe and get some iron, and you can smelt. I'll just have the smelter in there already, not to worry about crafting it. But for the game, where you can come in, hit it, smelt it, throw some wood in here that you've collected, smelt it, get your ingot, and then leave. And you leave with like however many ingots that we determine are going to be in there. And then of course walking around and then clicking this and opening up the crafting grid for now. I know there's a lot of cool plugins you can get to do this crafting stuff. So I've tried a few of them in Unity already with some test games that I made. So I know it's possible where you can go in, you can drop in this material takes this and this setting, this layout, and it pops out this thing. So I know that's already a thing, a doable thing. So I'm not worried about that. But it's going to be a lot of coding. I know it's going to be a lot of programming. But right now, I really want to get to look, and I like the way this looks already. With proper lighting, this is gonna pop. With little lanterns and things in here, and just get some cool lighting for the demo. So, and I do want to kickstart this. So I do want to make a Kickstarter. But again, this is my first video. I just kind of want to do a devlog to show that this is what I got accomplished in 1 week. All this, as well as the wagons that I did. and the smelter. So I've been working on it pretty much every day, just putting my ideas down, and I threw some more ideas down today. Um, like things, just like things to craft, and then I'm gonna start working on crafting list on what it takes, to make those, to make different items, especially at the beginning. And it's gonna kind of, I know it's gonna balloon out. So it's like, if you looked at the crafting grid on Minecraft, and it shows you like the progression for crafting, I'm gonna build the same thing, where I can go in and say this will lead to this technology tree will lead to this crafting table will make this, but you need this and this. With these special crafting tables that I'm making, especially like the alchemy table. So once I build the foundation, I think adding all those things isn't going to be too bad. I just need to get started. Like the hardest part, they always say, is like getting started. But I've started, and I got a pretty good idea of what I want to do. Again, I've been thinking about this game for 10 years, so that's when I got the initial idea. But it was a board game, not necessarily a video game. And this still could be a board game. Technically, it would be expensive, but the idea here is to get something playable up to here and get the first market. I may not have like the way I want the market coded. I may just have it to where like you click it, and it shows like your wagon being set up, like the tables coming out, and then the little barrels and things popping up. And then like your NPC character standing back here, hanging out, welcoming, to welcome shoppers as they come by who want to come visit your market to see all those cool things. And again, the talking about thousands and thousands of possible items that are going to be able to sell in different variations, different colors, different metals, different woods, different fabrics, the foods, you know. Raw foods, pickled foods, cooked foods. So the possibilities are endless as far as what you can sell to other players. And again, it's going to be like an Amazon type store in the game where you can go in and you can filter and search. Like if I'm looking for a bow and arrow, I could type bow or arrows, and it'll show me like who's selling what. And if because if it's a public store, and I can go in and then click shop, and it'll take me into that person's instance, like a 3D instance of their market, and I can walk around, and I can look at the goods that they have to sell, not just what I was looking for, but I can see everything else they're selling, and I can kind of see what the price is. So I'll mock that one up. I'm probably gonna work on that today. I want to get like the initial I want to get like the ruins kind of started, and then the underground city I'll probably wait till tomorrow or this weekend, because the underground city is going to be a little bit more complex. I got the mine kind of mocked up the way I like, but I need to do the hunting and the gathering area, because I just did this crazy stupid thing. But I want to do it in 3D where it's colored, and I'll design a couple of cool animals we can stick in there. Even if I have to use AI right now, I don't care. It's not final. It's just something. It's just a placeholder. Most of this is placeholder right now, because in game development, I mean, your first idea may not be the right one. I know it's true for me because I've already changed it so many times, especially with having like this water mine, unlocking certain things, and then the lava mine unlocking certain things, crystal mines unlocking, like once you cross this river you're going to get access to different technologies and different things will change. But like that's all like the ambition part, but like the reality part set aside from the ambition is these 5 tiles right here. Like I want to be able to go down into this underground part and see that there was like there was another society that lived down there. And since it's so close to the water, I was going to have just like where it was flooded. So like, yeah, you can go down there, but maybe you can go to like 1 or 2 tiles, because all the rest of it is just flooded with the water that you can't access. You can see it, but you won't be able to get to it initially to start with, just because it got flooded out by whatever, because it's next to the water. So that's kind of my idea for this, at least to like show what I want it to look like and get the style and the theme of the game. Same with this ruins here. Like I was gonna make this like a farmer was living there, and it's like his house, and then there was like a windmill, which unlocks wind power for you. So if you want, you'll be able to like you'll have like this little tiny windmill you can stick on your wagon to like process grain or process rocks or whatever, process the crystals, because you'll need some kind of wind power to like turn. But you need a you may have the windmill, but you won't, you haven't unlocked like the gears, and you haven't unlocked the shafts, like the cogs and the shafts to make it work and actually build that new crafting station out of it yet, because you won't get it until you get to maybe like here or here, and until you get further in and you discover technology of the gears, how it works. But again, that's is like that's all the ambition part, but the reality part is getting it to a level, to a playable level, to where I can make these 5 tiles work, not 100. That's where programmers and people who are way smarter, and if we kickstart and I can hire people to actually help me code that and actually make that a reality, that's where the whole idea is, of making this video and doing these logs, and maybe getting somebody who says, yeah, I can do that, or I've done that in a game before, or, yeah, that's possible, or, oh no, that's impossible. But I don't even want to hear the word impossible, because I don't think anything that I'm wanting to do in this game is out of the question, because like Valheim has a lot of those elements in it. My Minecraft has a lot of these elements in it. I've played games where you can join other people, like if I'm going into a dungeon, which I'll just call these dungeons for now, and I can invite my friend to come in with me to play that dungeon with me. Maybe it's a little too hard for me, or maybe he's a ranged weapon fighter and I'm a tank, or he's magic and I'm a ranged, or whatever. You can invite up to so many players, 3 to 4 people, to come in with you, and y'all can go through these dungeons together and get the loot together. And obviously the harder it is, the better the loot, and they get to take their stuff home, you get to take your stuff home. Or you can share whatever. We can have like a loot system where everybody gets an even amount, and the best stuff is randomly awarded to a player. Which we do that in UO all the time. They randomly pick who's gonna get these awesome prizes at the end. Whoever participated randomly gets like the cool trophy or something at the end. So that's kind of the idea. Again, this was my first video, because like I said, it's been 7 days. I started last week again, and it's coming along. I mean, I have a lot of cool ideas. If you have any thoughts, again, I may, like on my Kickstarter, may let people name these as a certain level. Like you can come in and name these animals once they're designed. That could just be kind of like a cool thing for stretch goals and things, where if somebody backs it as a certain tier, they'll be able to do certain things. Or you can have like one of these ruins or cities named after you or something, or you can pick the name of it, something like that. I have a lot of ideas. I've supported a lot of games, and some have come through, some haven't. I know I'm at that age now. I'm 46 years old. I'm not a kid anymore. Like, I don't party anymore. I used to, go out to the bars and drink and have a social life, but like I just like sitting at home playing games. And now I like making games, especially board games. I have tons and tons of games that on paper, like that I've worked on. So, but this is the game I want to make. It's like it adds everything that I love: board games, video games, exploration, trading, the market, the dungeons. You're still going to get to do that mining like you do in Minecraft and chopping the wood, but you're also going to get to go into these, procedure generated above ground ruins, and you'll get to go into these underground ones that have a very specific theme to them. And then it'll change as you progress to these different quadrants of the map. So I'm going to make it to where at least there's 3 quadrants that are randomized, where the last one is kind of your exit, and there really won't be much there. I really just want it to be 3 right now. because there's going to be a level 2. And I haven't decided if we're going to add airships to that or not. I mean, I'm not even that far. I just threw it on there just to keep myself motivated, because I think you should have an end somewhere, at least an end goal that you know you're trying to get to. Because if this is like a mountain area, I think that if I do it to where like you go into the next area and it's just like this one where it's flat and there's not much to really challenge you, I think maybe doing this where you have to build like some sort of you convert your wagon into like a just big airship, and you get more crafting space. You're not really flying around again because you're just kind of hopping from tile to tile with your wagon. Like maybe over here, like you have to go up a hill, like up a mountain, and it's just kind of floating to get up there till you get to the next level, and then you can go explore what's up in the mountains, like caves and castles, and maybe like there's another race of people that live in there. You know, maybe it's the people who destroyed all this. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't really written that part of the story yet, at least the lore. I just know that the people don't live above ground. They tried to go underground. It didn't work either. These are all abandoned, and there's things to explore. And I don't know if you've watched another anime called Made in Abyss, but like they go down, and like a part of the story is like they're finding these artifacts. They don't do anything, but the whole idea and the premise of it is like they just go down and they're training to find artifacts that were buried down there in the abyss, which is like this big hole. But if you haven't seen that, it's a great show. Watch it. Kind of like Steam Boy. If you haven't seen Steam Boy, go watch that one too, because that's things. I'm taking all these cool things that I like. You know, video games, board games, animes, cartoons, and kind of throwing them in here. So it's just keep watching, subscribe, and hopefully like every week, every Wednesday, I'll do one of these videos and I'll show you the progress. I'm going to have a lot of progress tonight, and I'll do some short clips if I need help, or if I get stuck somewhere and I don't know what to do, and maybe I'll go live. So just please subscribe and keep me on your list if you see me go live, and I may go live here and on Twitch. So just let me know what you think. If it's, you know, this wagon's going away. It looks like a chuck wagon. It was stupid. I was just getting back into 3D. But if you have any, you know, feedback or whatever, I do accept help. If anybody is just bored and they want to help me design a wagon, maybe these suck, you can do better. I'm down, you know, even animals. Like if you have an idea or a drawing or something and you want to add it to the game, I would be more than happy to just, you know, I'll put your name on the credits of the game as your name and design this animal. If that's, you know, if that's what you want. I'm not really paying, or I haven't kickstarted yet, but when I do kickstart, I will be, you know, things like making the models prettier is what I'm going to pay for. So like if you do want to help me and like you sketched out and say, hey, I think a deer, this would be cool to replace a deer with, or a pig or a rabbit, and like you drew it out and it was kind of crude even if it wasn't that good looking, but you still helped. Like when I hire a good 3D artist to make those and animate those, I'll still give you the credit for the original design in the game, even though I'm going to pay somebody to actually make it and animate it and all that. But even if your level of helping is just like drawing me a stick figure of something that, you know, you'd think would be cool, I'm okay with giving you credit for helping me out. I mean, I am, like I said, I'm going to kickstart this. I want to make money on this game, so but like right now I don't have the money to pay people to help, so I'm doing it all alone. But if you're okay with just helping out to the point of like, you know, you want to have your name on it and you helped, I'm all for it. Just message me. I'm on Facebook, the Wagon Path. Just look for Wagon Path on Facebook. I'll put the link on the video. So that is pretty much it for today. I'm gonna delete these because I'm gonna be back working on this. I might go live here because I might go live and actually make this and upgrade this cooking station to a level to this new design that I designed, because I didn't like, this was too blocky for me. And I want the cooking station, since I had this area, I want them to kind of like have some depth, to them, like where this is wood and then this is more like a pizza oven type looking thing, with this new grate that I designed, and maybe do this metal. Well, anyway, but um, that's the first devlog. So we'll put that one in the books, and I hope you guys tune in for the next one. Thanks.